And we're live.
Mark is top donor, and he wants us to use a hammer. So
yeah,
that's on brand for St. Louis.
It is. Yeah, there was another like how much St. Louis sucks like big post where it was like St. Louis records 4 homicides and 5 shooting victims in first 3 hours of the new year. It was like, can it ever just be like St. Louis man invents something useful? You know, just something
he
like
invented
that.
a gun with 4 barrels, Dave.
Exactly. I was going to say.
Oh,
4 times the mass shootings of a normal psychopath.
Yeah, let me.
He has a hammer with claws on both ends.
They're calling it a sledgehammer.
A double claw. Just a useless fucking hammer. Absolutely useless. All right, what are we watching here? Or looking at here? Oh,
Jesus Christ.
I
don't know if I can share this.
No, you can't. You can't share this one. We don't want to. And Kyle's always on the side of. I saw this.
Oh yeah.
So,
who did that?
So we made a joke like how long ago? Like 6 weeks ago.
3 or 4.
I hate
3 or 4 weeks ago. Is like, all right, everybody. Now remember to come tribute us and tweet it at Woody. And someone went to our Reddit and was like, give me X amount of upvotes and I'll come tribute Taylor. And he did.
I don't want to go too deep into politics. That's never fun.
Yeah, but shit's boring.
Did Trump do a good thing? An incredibly reckless, stupid thing that just luckily turned out okay.
I think he did. I think he might have. So Andy, you don't know I'm the biggest Trump critic on the call. And but it appears that he traded Iran's number 2, a queen, we'll say in chess, or a couple of empty buildings, a pawn at the most. If you take out a queen with a pawn, I mean, look, this game doesn't end ever, so we'll see, where that happens. Right. But I mean, if we could have traded a few empty buildings for Osama bin Laden or Saddam Hussein, I think they would have made that trade. If Trump did that, and this game really does end with that score, you have to admit it went super well.
So I was like, this car is it's incredible, and I'm leasing it. So I moved back to LA after a stint in Portland, and I live in Hollywood off of a very busy street. I mean, a ton of foot traffic and shit. And one day I go out of my car and I drive it, and it's like making a bump sound, and it's physically shaking. So I pull over to the side. I'm like, something's wrong. I look around. I don't see anything wrong with the car. Like the wheels are all fine. So I call, get a tow truck. They bring it into the shop. The shop has my car for 4 days. They're like, we don't know what's wrong with it. We can't replicate the problem. But when we drive at slow speeds, we notice it. And then eventually they find out, because the way that my rims are, the lug nuts are tucked in deep into the rim. They were like, oh, all of your lug nuts are gone. And I was like, what? Like, yeah, except for the one that uses a key to take off. All of them are gone. Yeah. And I was like, so somebody tried to steal and brick my car in my carport. So I'm parked on the street, or in my carport that has street access.
Something going on in real life that's interesting right now. I was reading about, still not like all up on it, is this Chinese like Wuhan city virus. Have you guys been reading about that?
The coronavirus.
Yeah, the coronavirus.
So you cure it by sticking a lime in your neck.
Oh,
that's true.
Yes, you do. A little bit of salt. Yeah. Where's a margarita mix?
Salt.
Yeah. There you go.
The Dos Equis virus.
Do you guys think this is going to finally be a real deal one? Or is this going to be like bird flu again, or SARS?
I mean,
or what was the other one?
I think I won $5 on what's shucks, do you lose?
How many people would die of Ebola or whatever it was?
That was it. You're right.
Yeah. They were blowing Ebola up. And I agreed with you, they were blowing it up, but I still thought it would kill like 15 people, because like
it was a low number. I think it was like 15 people or 1 American.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I'm behind this 50 cal because you had to be qualified on the guns to shoot them. And I'm behind this 50 cal and I'm shooting it, and I got about 300 or 400 rounds in. I had the stoppage, and there's different types of stoppages, but this one was called a hard cock. And so what happens is the cocking handle wouldn't go all the way back; it was jammed halfway. And so my section commander came over and started kicking the shit out of it. Like that's actually how you actually get it out, right? So you got to just kick the shit out of it because they're big fucking guns. He kicks the shit out of it, and it finally dislodges the round that was stuck in there or whatever it was. And in the process of this, something happened, and I'll get back to that. So my company sergeant major was standing right behind me. He's in charge of the gun line, and he's like, "Yep, continue firing." I'm like, "Yep, seen on firing now." And I went to shoot it, and the gun blew up. Right, legit, just massive breach explosion, big puff of like smoke and just metal going around, and like natural reaction, I covered my face and hit the deck, right? It's hard to explain it, but imagine having a tripod going, I don't know, down like that. It's hard to fucking explain it, but you have your feet up on the fucking legs, and your groin is aiming directly at this fucking 50 cal. So your dick, everything's just exposed to this gun. And the breach on a 50 cal is underneath it. So everything that comes out goes down. So when it blew up, I hit the deck. I'm covering my face. My company sergeant major was standing behind me. He's like, "Are you all right? You're right." I'm like, "Yeah, face is good." But my leg fucking hurts. And there's like blood coming out of my leg right next to my, like right where your femoral artery is. So it's like right up in my groin.
Shit.
And it's just like seeping out, like not like gushing, but I was like, it was fucking hurting. And so instantly, like, we knew something happened, and a bit of the cartridge blew out of the bottom, went in, missed my femoral artery, it missed all my nerves, and just lodged right up my groin. And like, it was like the first time anything like that had happened any time recently. So it was like big stop. And then the ambulance got called forward, but the ambulance didn't know where the fuck it was. They went to the wrong spot. And there's like,
I don't know if you guys heard Shaq talking recently about Kobe Bryant dying. The video's huge right now. I don't know, 15 million views in a day or something like that. It's really heartfelt.
Is it a short video? We should watch it.
It's probably
Or-
NBA.
okay,
You know how the
never mind,
NBA
never
is.
mind.
But I strongly suggest anybody out there that's interested at all. Like, it doesn't matter if you're interested in Kobe Bryant or basketball or Shaq. It's just it's sort of a life lesson of him regretting not spending more time with Kobe, and really not spending more time telling him how he felt about him. And so you know, people that have lost people like that, I think all of us sort of try to do that. Like, I try to tell everybody that I care about them. I guess you two will notice. You don't hear that too much from me. Take a hint.
Never. Never. Not once. Not
once. That's intentional. But
you bitch.
But it's important. No, I love you guys. I really do. You guys are a big part of my life. I love both of you. I really do. From the heart. Really, really.
Lots of love here.
Love you guys. I wish the best for you all the time. I really do. Even though you're misguided and you don't want to have those kids, and you're just going to you dumb fuck. You dumb fuck. Get a dog. Get another dog. Don't do it. Don't do it. So I got my DNA test back.
Yes.
I've got
ask you about this.
I've got a few screenshots here. So here's the one that's sort of the broad strokes. If you want to show people, let me make sure I'm not oversharing.
I was surprised when it said you're 5% gay.
Yeah, shocker. That's what happens when you ejaculate in that cup.
That would be a hilarious, inexpensive bit. It's just send him a cup of cum.
Yeah. So,
man, you're white as fuck.
I'm just making sure you're not oversharing. Last name's fine to share.
Yeah,
I know it's out there, but
white as fuck. Yeah, they're court records. 99.7% European. All right, British and Irish. 90 is 63%. It seems like most of my ancestors hail from
mostly Irish,
London and Dublin, Ireland. Yeah. 16% French and German. A little bit of Scandinavian.
The classic self-hating Irishman. Yeah.
Yes, just a speck. No, there's a speck of Spanish and Portuguese. Just a little, just a taste.
Did you say speck on purpose for that one?
I did.
It took me a second to catch on.
Here's the most interesting thing out of the whole thing. So I also did. I could show you like the screenshots of like all the traits, but it's literally like nothing bad and everything good. It's kind of boring.
Where's the Neanderthal part? That
right here. Yeah, that spoiler alert. I have 315 Neanderthal
that
variants.
silhouette picture.
This is more than 95% of 23.
Maybe like a couple days ago, I tweeted there was a Joe Rogan episode. It was with an astronaut. His name I've forgotten. I thought it was just an exceptionally good episode, just real recent, right? Yeah. And the guy was super fat, super interesting, and led this really, really cool life. And I talked about all these different things he was doing in his life on the Joe Rogan show. And it's just like, it was just a phenomenal guest for that. I tweeted out that episode to my on my Twitter, and was like, this is really fucking cool. And I immediately got one of the first comments back was essentially, I don't like Joe Rogan because of his political views. I'm just like, what in the fuck?
Yeah.
Like, how is this related to anything here? This is like,
you couldn't have asked,
the origin of that,
right?
And then I mentioned this in channel. Like, I think I was talking about today, and one of my mods was like, yeah, I don't like Joe Rogan. He's misogynistic. I'm just like, I watched a lot of Joe Rogan. It seems really weird to me that, and I've heard this before. I've heard this elsewhere, that this type of shit gets like projected that way. And it's just like, I don't know, this is for me a continuation of our previous conversation about this. This is the woke culture shit. And I find myself, granted, I'm a fucking white male living in northern Wisconsin with limited social interaction to some degree with a lot of people. But like at the same level, I fucking really don't like this shit of like it getting gated. Like, why am I not able to make my own decisions? Why are people making their own decisions about this shit? Why is this kind of like this person's a misogynist? This person's like, what was the other thing? He gets
transphobic.
Transphobic.
Yeah. What happened was that he said that he was probably going to vote for Bernie Sanders, or he might, something kind of almost wishy-washy. And so people who want to attack Bernie Sanders sort of
it's before that. He's been hit with transphobic.
Well, no, this is brand new. It's gotten really big lately.
Yeah, I saw
it's so the people that want to attack Bernie Sanders. So Bernie Sanders retweeted like Joe Rogan saying that, or thanked him or something like that. And as a way of attacking Bernie Sanders, they bring up his quote unquote transphobia, which amounts to him saying that trans athletes shouldn't be competing against biological women, especially in combat sports.
Mm-hmm.
That's the most transphobic thing he said. Well,
which, by the way, is
joking around. He is a professional fucking comedian.
Yeah.
Don't put that out there into the zeitgeist. We're strongly anti-condom on this show.
You listen to Taylor all you want,
unless you want to ruin your sex.
I've seen many men fall prey to this Taylorism that you're seeing work its dark magic on here. I'm not convinced he hasn't been cursed. All right. I have seen young, strong, virulent men who went out and found different women every week if they wanted to, or long-term girlfriends if they wanted to, had all the free time to travel the country, be out when they wanted to be.
We're talking about Jeremy,
what they wanted to be. Jeremy, time to do any of this shit. Jeremy's a rotten mouth, fucking hillbilly.
He's a strong, virulent man.
I'm talking about people like Scott, for example, or a number of people that I grew up with, went to high school with, like a lot of the good-looking, fit guys, and it's like, oh, I think I'll go get married at 19 years old. That's smart, isn't it? Hey, I'm barely even have a fully developed brain. Let me just ruin my whole life. Trust me, I'm almost 34 years old here. I have made the right decision in this regard. All right, you do not. I am responsible for nothing. Now you may say, "Oh, but my life, I feel so unfulfilled." Do you know my kill-death ratio is in Tarkov, you pussies?
Yeah. And when you're old, seriously, that kill-death ratio will take care of you.
I was going to say, there's one thing I know.
I love when they bring up that rationale. That's the greediest, most selfish reason for procreation and marriage.
You just said you didn't want to do it so you could do whatever you want all the time.
That is the most selfish
touche,
thing.
yeah.
You just said you wanted to do it so that somebody could be your servant and nursemaid.
I was making a joke about your.
No, you weren't. You always bring that one up. You're literally afraid of being alone. And
Kyle, do you have any formal improv training?
Tons.
Yeah,
I thought so. The consummate expert. That's what people call Kyle.
Mostly the
they had an improv group in prison.
Yeah, mostly
they have an improv group in prison. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, Tommy, you're acting out a rape. You're not supposed to rape. Man, how am I supposed to get in character if I'm not like really into it? Dude, if I'm not fucking hard, then I'm not gonna pretend to be hard. That's not the kind of thing I'm into.
I came in thinking, we pretend, but he's so cute.
I'm just trying to get out of making the fucking license plates. Honestly, man. Like, can I be like a plant or something? I just don't want to go do the carpenter stuff. Stabbed 4 days ago.
Did you pay me or something?
This is him waking up to what they've done to him.
He's
It's
saying,
not-
did you paint me? or
Dude, this
something?"
Looks like someone
motherfucker
did, yeah.
doesn't have an
Just woke
ounce
up.
of muscle on him. It's all just booze fat.
You're such a faggot, dude.
Oh, that's a mirror. He just looked
You're
in
the biggest faggot in the world.
on the door.
Like, I don't know what kind of fucking loser shit you guys are on to paint me, but fuck you, dude. Seriously.
He's skinnier than I thought.
Yeah,
Look at my fucking face.
he's
dude.
lost weight.
It was me, dude.
You're a loser, dude. Whatever money you made for painting me, pay me now.
I didn't make
Pay
it.
me now.
It did it free
Pay
stream.
me now.
Fuck.
Pay me now, dude.
Can we talk
Get
about
on,
it?
get on your phone and pay me whatever money you made for your fucking loser ass stream, you no content bitch ass stream. Pay me now or get the fuck
Your
off.
stream
the
had
dude.
content. I
I
just
swear to God, dude.
Okay, I'll pay you.
Pay me now. Whatever money you made to paint me, you look like a fucking clown, dude. Pay me now. Get on your phone, dude. Get on your phone.
Blade, you're drunk, dude.
That's my money. Pay me now.
Blade, can you relax,
Pay me now.
dude?
No, fuck that, dude. I will. You're like a fucking clown, dude. Fuck you, dude.
You look like Pepe the
Pay
Frog,
me
dude.
now. Pay me now, dude.
Relax, dude.
Get on your fucking phone and PayPal me right the fuck now, dude. How much money did you make for fun painting me?
I don't make any money to paint you.
It's here.
I would,
Yeah, very creative.
yeah, the
content.
Corona thing's heating up. It's becoming very interesting. I think the most interesting thing is that all the sports, all the major sports, have either postponed or canceled their seasons, or in the case of college basketball, it seems empty stadiums.
You know they canceled March Madness. It sounded like you didn't know that.
I didn't know that. It seemed to me that they were just going to do empty stadiums.
I didn't know they full on canceled it. Holy shit.
I
That's
saw
like
it
a,
on Reddit. Let me
Yeah.
just check the source.
like a
Yeah, so-
billion-dollar event or something. I think I saw. Like,
I
that's
mean,
insane.
NHL, my Golden Knights, they're in the lead in their division. I don't know what's going to happen to them, you know?
Yeah, second place in the conference. They're tearing it up.
You
But
guys,
if we
you
can't
guys are only
award
2
the
games
Stanley
ahead,
Cup,
you know,
only-
and win in the win column. I think we got 49 wins. You got like 51.
no, nobody's got. We've got 42. You guys probably have 40. If you got 2 less, I don't know. I'm gonna be.
I think I would
be
know.
so
Taylor.
impressed if you got that right.
In any case, you know, like baseball
Close.
and everything.
Close enough.
The big fear is
Yeah.
is UFC, of course, that this Tony Khabib fight is going to get fucking canceled because of fucking coronavirus. I'm losing
It
my
is.
goddamn mind.
It
I
is
had this
every
long talk
single
with my
day.
dad the other day, and I laid it all out with him. I'm like, since time immemorial, Tony Ferguson and Khabib Nurmagomedov have been slated to battle one another, and time again, it has slipped through our fingers. But this time, no way anything happens, and here we are. Every sporting event's being canceled, and this thing's coming up next month. And I think,
Yeah.
I hope they fight in an empty arena. I hope they fight in an empty arena and just make it fucking happen.
I would.
Dude,
Kyle,
so
can I
much fun.
ask you, because one of the first things I thought of when I heard that everyone had to stay inside was I was like, oh, I think I know someone whose life wouldn't change.
Yeah, not too much. I haven't been in my car in like 2 weeks now. Like I do go out to do stuff. Like I like to play a little airsoft. I like to go to the movies. Like I love doing like shopping at fancy places because I like to cook. I like to go get really gourmet stuff, but I am locked down. We've talked about it at length on the show, but so
I'm
not to go too far into it. But yeah, I'm quarantined down because I really don't want to get this thing because I really don't want to pass it on to family members who'd be more susceptible.
Yeah.
And I don't want to joke about Corona at all. It's not
Right.
It's not a
It is
laughing
not a
matter.
joking matter.
Kyle, I think
I
I'm more
actually
locked
have-
down than you. I went outside. I took the golf cart to get my.
all right. So I heard about Tiger King. I saw it on Netflix. It looks dumb. Like this the picture of it or whatever.
Looks
It's like
retarded.
this-
I would have never clicked it if you hadn't said. to.
Never would have clicked it. But I heard so many people talking about it. I heard Bert Kreister talking about it. Lots of celebrities and lots of people I know were just like, you gotta watch it, you gotta watch it, you gotta watch it. So we start watching this shit. And essentially, all right, so it's about people who keep tigers.
Yeah.
Exotic
Big
cats.
cats.
Big
Big
cats.
cats, not just
Yeah.
tigers.
And there's this group of people across the country. One's in Myrtle Beach, one's in Bumfuck, Oklahoma, one's in Tampa, Florida. And they all have these parks where they have big cats, lions, and tigers, and bears, and wolves, and everything you can imagine.
Alligators.
right?
Yeah, it's like a zoo.
They have their own little private zoos, and they are all, each one is more interesting than the last. one of these guys is a gay, mullet wearing, gun toting, polygamist homosexual with about 12 piercings on his face. He is the Tiger King.
Yeah.
There are a lot of flat earthers out there.
There are a lot of people who aren't Kyle.
Think I'm not sure if the three of you are aware of this. There's a whole movement of people. They don't think birds are real.
Well, they're not.
They think the birds are being charged
by the power lines. That's why they sit there.
No. Everybody is in quarantine, so they can charge the birds.
That's what it is.
Not heard that one?
I have literally seen illustrations. I have seen illustrations of like what the inside of a bird supposedly looks like, and it's all mechanical, like the fucking Terminator.
Yeah. What is the name of this website?
Obviously, birds are a modern invention. You don't see any old pictures of birds like from Egypt.
That's where I'm. Whenever something comes up, I don't dismiss things out of hand. I don't say, "Ha, bullshit. I'm too smart to even look into that." No, I'll look into even the craziest things. But all I had to do was do what you just did, Woody. I went, man, I'm pretty sure they talk about birds in the Bible and like all sorts of ancient text.
Mm-hmm.
Like Da Vinci was okay. There's plenty of illustrations. I mean, look at the Egyptian hieroglyphics, with the birds and on them and shit, like, and then
the bones from the dinosaurs.
Maybe they've been here the whole time, watching, waiting. And then I realized that's absurd because I've shot many birds in real life and torn them apart with my hands and eaten them, and there were no metal bits in there.
Riddle me this: is the birds aren't real movement dinosaur denial?
I'm familiar with the dinosaur denial movement as well.
Are they the same people though? Because dinosaurs were birds, is my understanding from like
you would have to believe
every channel show.
These are not the type of people who believe in evolution.
That Chiz suggested we do a bit where we all bought Minoxidil, and we were gonna do like Chiz and Kyle, Chiz and Kyle were gonna be like, I'm gonna apply a bunch of Minoxidil to my face, get my beard growing thicker, and either Chiz or Kyle was like, Taylor, you buy some too and spread it all over your face and grow even more hair. And I'm like, that's hilarious. I just dropped $65 on Amazon for this. And it was maybe like 3 days later after I had got it, taken a picture and sent it to our, me, Kyle, Woody, and Chiz group chat, that Chiz like messaged me on Discord or something, was like, hey man, I know you already bought it, but I've been doing a lot of research about this, and I highly recommend you do not apply this. This is not a bit for us to do.
It's in a box somewhere.
If you don't need to grow hair, please, Taylor, do not be putting this on your face and on your head, and you might get hair follicles on your fingertips or something. And I was like, okay, all right. And then I literally kept that under my sink, 7 bottles of it. It came with one and then like a 6 bonus pack. And because that's how they sold it.
What were you gonna do? Go werewolf with it?
I was gonna put it all over my face and see if it made my beard thicker. Yeah. And then a friend of mine who's been going bald since we were like 16. Honestly, it's okay because he's like 6'5", and so he can get, nobody sees the top of his head. Yeah. And I gave it to him, and he told me that he would start using it, but I haven't noticed any hair growth, so I bet he forgot.
Yeah. A lot of people don't realize that it's like Minoxidil is like FDA approved and it's the over-the-counter thing to use for hair and whatnot, but it's like the way it works is actually pretty like intense. Like it causes a bunch of vasodilation. It can lower your blood pressure a shit ton, and that's sort of how it facilitates the hair growth. And some people get like heart arrhythmias and shit. Like I know some people who've ended up in the hospital just from Minoxidil.
I think that's what turned us off to it. Like it sounded funny. It sounded funny at first, but then it was just like, wait, there are health concerns to Rogan? When I was in prison, I was looking for anything and everything to read because that's how I wanted to spend my time. I don't want to get mixed up with the rough crowd in there or raped. So I spent all of my time reading. I read maybe a dozen books, and I would talk on the prison phone occasionally to various people in my life. And one of them was Chiz, the guy who runs like the background of the show. And I was like, yeah, any books that you think would be good, fucking send them to me. They'll search them for contraband, and then I'll get them a day later.
Dude, if you would have been in that prison for 2 more months, it would have been like, yeah, that's Kyle, but they call him the professor.
Pretty much.
Man, so, you want to know about Harry Potter? I
read the whole Harry Potter series. I'm not gonna lie, all the way through. It took me a week.
Chiz also put something else together that none of us have seen. that I'm not sure when
Yes.
we're gonna tap into that. It's apparently Kyle, you set the stage. You know more.
Yeah, so buckle up, boys. If you're listening to this, around the world. So what we have here is and based on what I understand, I wanted this to be a surprise. I have not seen it, but I think what Chiz did is he contacted a lot of our previous guests. I don't know who or how many, but he had them like do a little video blurb about us or to us, sort of reacting to hey, it's 10 years. What do you want to say to the guys? And they all sent these little selfie videos into Chiz and fuck them. And he edited
I hope so.
I hope
it
there's some
down.
of those, man. That'd be funny.
He edited down all of these little clips into just the fucking cream of the crop, and it was 45 minutes long. So we're for the next 45 minutes, everyone sit down. No, that's not enough.
Nonstop.
So we said, all of us collectively, including Chiz, we're like, 45 minutes might be way too fucking long.
Absolutely
So
too much.
we went back
Welcome
to
to our
the
10-year
editing.
anniversary. It's a clip show.
People would be so pissed off.
So he went back to the editing room and he edited the cream down to the diamond encrusted platinum that came out to 25 minutes of little blurbs from our cream turns into diamond covered platinum. And he edited it down 25 minutes. And then Chiz split that 25 minutes in half. So we have two 12.5 minute videos of prior guests saying something about us. God knows what, if he got some of them.
God, I hope Shoe Nice is in there calling us a lesbian book club again.
Oh, wow. I
don't know if he's still alive.
I don't know if he has internet. So
But anyway, let's see that hot sauce again.
Yeah,
Or
so I'm making hot sauce.
and
So what I'm doing is I'm fermenting the peppers. So
Okay.
these ferment for a week or up to 2 weeks. So what I've got in there, I've got habaneros, jalapenos, poblanos, and banana peppers. Because I wanted I don't know,
variety. Yeah.
little variety. That's a habanero. That dark green there's jalapeno.
Do you just throw them in there raw or slice
yeah.
them first? Or I can't tell.
I sliced them up. I threw them in there and I added salt water. And I think you do 1 1/4 teaspoons of sea salt per cup of water, if that matters. That's the ratio. And I threw in some cardamom pods and some black peppercorn, and that's about it. And they'll sit in there for 1 to 2 weeks. I burp it every day because it's fermenting, and I'll get the gas out so this jar doesn't shatter. And then at the end of 2 weeks, once it's all fermented, I separate the brine from the peppers. I blend the peppers into like a puree, and then I add the brine plus some apple cider vinegar and any more seasonings that I want to add. If I want to add some cumin or I don't know, any honey or anything else like that, and I've got hot sauce, and it's fermented hot sauce that I can.
How much is that going to make?
Don't know.
Probably not a jar that size full, right?
Probably not a jar that size. Maybe though, because some of those peppers are so goddamn hot. Those habaneros, especially, and those are like real jalapenos, not the bitch ones that most people get now. They breed jalapenos now, so a lot cooler than they used to be. They're supposed to be 5,000 to 7,000 Scoville units.
You let the seeds in there. I hope that's where all the spicy goodness is.
Yeah, I think you can maybe see
a jalapeno without the seeds in it is depressing. It's not.
Yeah, you can see some seeds there. Yeah. My favorite. You mentioned that people would call in and say the N-word, but they would also call you a rapist. Now, I don't have to ask why they would call you a rapist, unfortunately, because one of my favorite clips of you on the party RV is when you look at that. I can't think of that pretty blonde girl's name, but you're blitzed. So I feel like we should forgive you, and everyone should, for saying this, but you just look at her with these super drunk eyes and kind of lean in. You're sitting real close, and you go, "You ever been raped?"
I know.
And she goes, "No." And you go, lean in a little closer. "You should be."
I know. I know.
I love that quote. I love that. I
know.
want that to be my ringtone.
we can get that done for you.
Yep, that was on my list, actually. So, are you in California, Danny Mullen? Is that right?
Yes, sir. Los Angeles.
How's your quarantine? You'd staying inside?
I'm not obeying it.
Uh-huh.
I'm not obeying it, actually. I did a video called Kissing Girls in Las Vegas during coronavirus, during the most serious week of this whole thing.
How did that
That was
go?
another funny video. I liked that.
It was good, man. It got taken down for copyright, but I have an attorney fighting back. I don't know if you saw, Taylor. There was a lesbian woman who I made out with that lesbian woman's wife, and she was the one who sent out the copyright complaint and got the video taken down.
That's not copyright.
It's
you can't copyright another bitch's pussy.
He was a Golden Gloves boxer, and he had a lot of fights in a row, and he always won. And then he fought a Rule 11 inmate called Buster Beats. Now that means a mentally ill person. Rule 11. There was this foul meal that nobody would eat called Red Death, and this guy would just put it in plastic bags and eat it all day long. And he was my cellmate briefly as well. He like took the legs off crickets and mosquitoes and beat them with little rolled up pieces of toilet paper.
I didn't know where I was going. And there was some sort of a Pickle Rick type scenario, but he would just pull the legs off until it's a torso, and then he would beat them with a rolled up.
Yeah, and say, "Good mosquito, you're not going to leave me now." Things like this.
Oh shit!
He had this rap called "Dead Body Hose" about having sex with the corpses of Britney Spears and Christina Aguilera and all this stuff, and the prisoners would always make him do it. But anyway, the Golden Gloves boxer Nick, he ended up in a fight with Buster Beats. Buster Beats, these Rule 11 guys, they've got this crazy strength. Buster Beats, he kept like Marco. The Golden Gloves guy Nick just kept beating the shit out of Buster Beats, and he'd say like, "I give up, I give up." He'd go to leave the cell. Buster Beats would like jump back up, bounce off the wall like Spider-Man, jump on Nick's back. And this went on for about 20 minutes, 30 minutes, and Nick's like just punch. He's got him against the wall, just punch. I think he's gonna kill this guy. And Nick, his hand, he broke his knuckle. His hand swelled up like the size of a grapefruit. Pieces of teeth of both of them had come off. And after that, Nick said, "Look, I'm sick of being the head of the whites." He was sick of fighting all the time.
You guys have never taken heroin, have you? Because if you have taken fucking heroin, within a minute, God comes down from heaven and plants a fucking kiss.
Wait, and he had a vagina?
Man, heroin
No, it was
sounds pretty
on
fun.
his tricycle, please. Fuck me. You guys have never taken heroin?
I haven't.
No,
Everybody knows God.
People
I've had
call me a bit of a
morphine.
square because of it. we're very square. bud.
I got that thing taken off my eye last week, and what do you ask me? Like it wasn't cancer or anything, was it? And I was like, no. The doctor assured me that because there were eyelashes growing through it, that's a sign it's not cancer. Well, they call me Friday, and they go, so it's cancer. They call me Friday, and she's like, she's like, the doctor would like to talk to you about your test results, and I'm like, okay, well, tell me. And she's like, well, he wants you to come in. And I'm like, that's not a good sign. Well, I can't come in. And my dad just had come in that day. So like he literally has walked in the door like as I'm on the phone, and I'm like, I can't come in today, and it's Memorial Day weekend, so like it's gonna be Tuesday, which is Tuesday a couple days ago, before I can get in there and actually see this guy. I'm like, it'll be Tuesday before I can get in there to see him. Just tell me. And she's like, hang on, I'm gonna get him. And I'm like, oh, this is bad. And the doctor comes on, he's like, so I was wrong. The test results came back. It's cancer. You have cancer. And I'm like, well, that sucks. He's like, yeah, we're gonna have to. He's like Lumberg on Office Space. Yeah, we're gonna need to go back into your eye on Saturday and remove a little more skin on Sunday and get clean margins for Monday so that you don't die.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, that'd be great.
Can you go?
So
he also made the mistake of white TV hour. Like they had they're apparently, like Kyle said, they have racial TVs, except the guy who was
I hope
leading
they
that
watch
block.
Full House. I hope that's where this is going.
The guy named Rocker, who's the black guy in charge. And this block, the black gang is the most powerful. I think it was the other block where it was the white gang that's the most powerful. So there are different dynamics there, but they're not interacting, obviously. And it's the white guy who looks like Lord Farquaad, the head of the whites, is like, hey, it's your day. You know, pick what's on TV, dude. Pick what you want. And the guy's like, I didn't know what to pick. I just didn't want to ruin white TV day, is what he said. and he goes, ESPN. And then everybody's going, oh, and he's like, but it's March Madness. What, you guys don't want to watch March Madness? And then they turn it on that. He sits down and looks away from the TV, and Rocker starts going, how are you going to put it on ESPN? You're not even watching the TV. Give me the remote. And he's like yelling. And this poor preacher guy is like alone in his little confessional later. And he's like, well, I ruined white TV day. Like, so that guy I like a lot.
He's cool.
Yeah.
The COVID stuff is interesting. That it's staging some sort of comeback. I'm sure these riots and protests are a great
Good
way
for
for
it.
it to spread,
Yeah.
right?
Well, I mean, they're starting a lot of fires, and I think that's probably good at killing the virus. And the police seem to be spraying a lot of pepper spray, and I think maybe that's probably
It might be Lysol. You don't know.
that would be funny. Actually, that the cops are being such pieces of shit. The people are literally there protesting police brutality, and the cops are like, "I know what we should do. We should be brutal."
They took the Beverly Woodworth, you think you're crying, I'll give you something to cry about approach.
Yeah, and they're gonna brutalize their way right out of a fucking job, and I'm thrilled,
dude.
Thrilled.
Have you seen?
I did another part I liked was once you started to get your mojo, your groove going, you were like, I'm a Christian man. I'm gonna get a Bible study rocking and rolling in here, and you just start yelling in the pod, Bible study, Bible study, and I could tell the body language because you did the shoulder pop, like moving around the Bible study, like imitating the prison, the head bobbing kind of thing. Yeah. And I was like, as I'm watching, I'm like, please, someone go to his Bible study. just one guy go to his Bible study. And no one wanted to learn about the Bible. That shocked me because I was like, I thought that was a safe bet in prison. Like there's so many people there who are, born again or whatever. Like, and there were no takers, no Christians.
So can I unveil the curtain of TV magic?
Hold the curtain back. Yeah.
Okay, awesome.
I still look, Woody. I'm still down to do that consent app that we were talking about the other day.
It's genius. Taylor made it seem like it was not cool.
Taylor's a jabroni. Don't listen to him. We'll cut him right out. We don't need him.
Yeah.
All right. I'll market it. You create it. And look, both partners put their thumbprint down, right? The phone has that, and there's like it's a fucking legal contract right there,
right?
And
a bunch of check boxes to things you were down for.
Yeah, are you consenting? Not submitting. Yeah, submitting and consenting. That might be a different form to like oral copulation, anal copulation. Maybe some foreign objects bringing it. Just find the list of charges against Ron Jeremy and use those as your basis.
And by the way, I think that's a great idea for an app. But here's my question: when people sign a consent form, do you know going in what people are consenting to? Do you know what I mean?
That's what these check boxes are. That's the list that he just gave: oral, anal, vaginal, foreign objects.
She thumbprints next to everything she's down for. She checks it. She does a little digital signature, just like you can do, like when you're fucking working your bank account on your phone, and she scans her fucking thumbprint, and you're like, yes. And maybe you get fucking face thing and everything, just to be safe.
It should be like a grocery shopping app where it remembers your previous orders and says, "Oh, same thing as last week."
Again?
Fuck yeah.
Yep. Reorder.
You need to buy novelty musical instruments on Amazon that people donate. People will like someone said, "Hey, if I give you $6, will you get a slide whistle?" And I'm like, "I don't care." So it's like,
I love how these are all within grabbing distance around
They're
your.
all
By the way.
Incredible work.
The didgeridoo, but it's hard.
James has this super long, like very wholesome thing about being frugal and preparing for the worst as you go honk honk like off.
I mean, this is
It goes
this is
into
the
it.
worst.
Do it.
This is the worst. Yeah.
I got it for a second.
There was no preparing for this.
No. Sounds like a tuba a little bit.
That one was good.
I love the pride. Like, hey guys, did you see?
Yeah.
Oh,
This
that's funny.
I was walking around my living room scaring the shit out of my dogs today. Just blowing this thing. Oh, they hate the didgeridoo. They absolutely hate it.
Okay.
And then until then, I can give me a gun question. Because you said you like a gun. Are you an aficionado or like?
Yeah,
it sounds
I ran
like
the
you like
biggest-
guns.
Yeah, I ran the biggest gun YouTube channel in the world for years. I owned well over 100 guns. I don't like to use the word expert, but I'm pretty well versed.
Got you. Okay, so is there a way to get a gun online?
Yeah.
Okay.
So
how do
so
I
you're
do
gonna want to you have to go through your local gun store or get yourself a federal firearms license so that you are in fact a store if you wanted it like directly mailed to you. What there isn't, and this is one of those political hot button issues, people talk about online gun sales and how there's no background check, and that's just a lie that people tell. What happens when you buy a gun online is they ask you for your, what dealer do we need to mail this to? And then they mail the gun to your local dealer, your local gun store. And then you go into that gun store and you're like, hey, is the gun here? And they're like, yeah, this one's for you, Bill. Just fill out your background check, show me your identification, we'll run your paperwork, we'll handle the transaction, and we're done. The reason to buy guns online is if you're getting a good price, like better than you'd get in a gun store, or if you're buying like a used firearm from another individual. Like if I wanted to sell you a gun, not me because I can't anymore, but if Woody wanted to sell you a gun, the
purely hypothetical.
Yeah, if you guys were in the same room, you could just give him $500 and he could hand you the firearm, and that's perfectly legal. But if you wanted to do some shipping, then you would give him your local gun store's information, just their address and all that stuff, and he would go to his gun store, and they would mail the gun, through UPS to the gun store, and you'd go in there, fill the paperwork out, and they'd handle the transaction for you.
All right.
So is there?
So I will make the case that at absolute best, and this is at absolute best, Helen Keller was able to say and comprehend a few words and short phrases. All the advanced speech she gave was trained and rehearsed for her by her trainer and teacher, Anne Sullivan, almost like a parrot more than a person.
Wow.
And so I will say this. She went blind and deaf at 19 months old. Do you know what the prognosis is for children who go blind and deaf at 19 months old in the year 2020 as opposed to 125 years ago? It's that they will never be able to function in society. They will never be able to communicate. They will not be able to engage in normal behavior. There is no hope. You just have to mitigate it. I looked up a lot of reviews of people who talk about this kind of thing, who work with blind deaf people. And what they say is that you're way more likely to have to engage with them lashing out violently at you because of confusion. And, it's sad. They're totally distanced from reality. And so they obviously lash out. You're way more likely to engage in that kind of behavior from these patients than you are them trying to read, because they can't read. There's a fundamental level of perception that you need in order to engage with anyone on any meaningful level. And that includes both audio and visual. You don't need both, because
I never thought of this.
There are deaf people who can communicate and there are blind people who can communicate, but that's only because blind people take advantage of audio, deaf people take advantage of visual. That's the only reason that it's able to be done. Is it a coincidence that in all of human history, there have been blind deaf people? Not once in human history, other than Helen Keller, have they been able to engage with someone like this and speak in this way. And also, and you may say to me, oh, there was someone 50 years prior to Helen Keller that was also a taught blind deaf person. That person is even less credible than Helen Keller. They literally are. I went on a deep fucking dive with it. And so,
I can't believe you're shitting on them. This is awesome.
With all that going on, we had stocked up on supplies, including some canned goods. I ordered a few weeks ago and 30 cans of beans. 10 black beans, 10 kidney beans, and 10 are pink beans. I also ordered 15 cans of chickpeas. I thought this would be a reasonable amount of beans and chickpeas to have every now and then. It would last for some time. This is 3 months ago. Is coronavirus stocking up?
Okay.
However, earlier this week, I opened the cabinet because I wanted to make a vegetarian chili using 2 cans of beans. All of the beans were gone. What the hell? So I asked my girlfriend, and she told me she buried all of the beans in the woods. At first, I thought she was joking, but she explained no. She had buried these beans in the woods. What the fuck? I asked her to explain, and she told me that she was afraid that if things get bad, we might have to worry about looters or whatever, and that the beans would be in danger of being stolen. I thought that was completely ridiculous and unlikely, and she got angry at me and said she's protecting our beans. According to her logic, the beans are safely buried in the woods behind our apartment complex, and if we ever need to get some beans, we'll go to the stash, dig up a can or two, but I'd prefer it if we could save them, just in case things get worse. I said, why only bury the beans? Why not bury our more valuable items? She said the canned food was our most valuable item for long-term means, and that since we have fresh food and online grocery deliveries, it would make sense to continue to stockpile more beans. She intends to go bury more beans in the woods every week. This was too insane for me, and I got really upset. I demanded that we go to where the beans are buried, and she refused to tell me. She said that if I knew, she was afraid I would dig up the beans. And I said, damn right I would dig up the beans. And she said, I will never jeopardize the beans. So the following day, I tried to put my foot down. I'm not usually a foot downer, but there are rare issues where compromise is out of the question, and I foolishly decided that this was one of those issues. I demanded to know where the beans were buried, and I told her that if she was going to bury the beans I paid for in the woods, that I would move out. We fought about it, and I kept insisting. In hindsight, I should have just let it go and created my own hidden stash of beans in the apartment and given her time to cool down about this bean buying scenario. But I blew it all out of proportion. And it's weird to bury the beans in the woods, but why do I have to press it? What's the harm at the end of the day? In the grand scheme of things, but I kept demanding her to take me to the beans or at least draw a map or something.
Take me to the beans.
Finally, she broke up with me over the beans. I've lost the love of my life because I couldn't let the damn beans go. I am in disbelief. She has moved out. Now, I am not only heartbroken, but I'm now paying full rent instead of 50%, which is a huge
and you're fresh out of beans.
Too long, didn't read. I kept demanding that my girlfriend showed me where she buried the beans in the woods, and she got so angry at me, she ended our relationship and moved out. My heart is shattered, and my finances are jeopardized because of a bean hoard.
No. Fuck that bean whore. Fuck that bean burying bitch. All right.
Nate is we've watched most seasons of 60 Days In, and we have kind of a power ranking of as the seasons start, we'll be like, oh, dude, this guy's gonna be a bitch. This girl's gonna be good. This guy sucks dick. And then every once in a while, and you invest in them. And so I'm like, oh, this guy's very high T, so I'll throw some cash into him. But then he'll get beat up, and it's like I lose all my money, which is unfortunate. You are the highest T, highest stock of anyone on the show in the show's history. I made a lot of fake money on you, so I appreciate that.
Appreciate it.
Yeah. So we had Mark from 60 Days In on, and his experience was a lot different than yours, to say the least. And for those of you who aren't familiar, 60 Days In, you go in for 60 days in prison. Nate, you're the only person who did 120 days in. Is that right?
Yeah, so I'm the only person to do 2 seasons. Yep.
Were you... because basically you did so well that the guard's like, hey, you want to just hang out? And what were your thoughts when he came to you? Were you like, fuck this? Or were you like, no, I want to be the best motherfucker this show's ever seen?
So, I mean, to be honest, when they asked, at first just pride kicked in, right? I mean, it was just kind of like one of those things, yeah, let's run it. And then when I realized that they were not kidding, they were being serious, I was like, whoa. Oh man, I got to think about this for at least a day.
Yeah,
completely. I want to talk about that explosion in Beirut because that was fucking insane.
What do you think that was? I only watched like one video of it.
That was prilled ammonium nitrate stored in a fucking warehouse. They've done the math. It's the biggest tannerite explosion in fucking history. I don't know what got mixed with the tannerite to like activate it, because no, it's not tannerite. The ammonium nitrate to activate it, like Oklahoma City, it was fuel oil, and it creates this whole compound when you mix fuel oil with ammonium nitrate. I don't know what could have mixed with that. And it was in these bags. And don't think like the kind of bag like you throw over your shoulder. Think the kind of bag that would fill up like a small Toyota pickup truck, like the rear of it. One bag of it. Like think of one of those bags that they put foam peanuts in, but 10 times bigger than that, full of ammonium nitrate.
Let me lay out what happened, because I think Taylor doesn't know, and probably a lot of viewers don't too. There was a ship filled with ammonium nitrate. There's a giant ship. It had thousands of kilograms of ammonium nitrate. And then something went wrong with the ship, some sort of technical problem that wasn't detailed. They were going to Mozambique, and they had to stop in Beirut. And then they got to Beirut. The thing never got approved. They realized it was dangerous to keep all this ammonium nitrate on a ship. So then they put it in a warehouse. And it just sat in a warehouse for years. Years. It sat in a warehouse as they like tried to sort of figure out, like, I don't know, what to do about it. And shit, I get my videos all fucked up. But it sat there in this warehouse for years, and then something sparked it.
This guy does Ben Shapiro's annoying ass voice, and you know Ben Shapiro was like making those stupid comments about like WAP or some show that some song that WAP is that what it is that Cardi B made, and he was like doing his like over the top stupid analysis and trying to make it much more of a thing about culture than it was. And this guy really does the Ben Shapiro voice well, and he's not even mocking that much what Ben Shapiro was saying. Like Ben was like, and these people are talking about wet vaginas. My wife would tell you that, you know, that might be a disease you're dealing. Like he was getting roasted for like questioning the.
Let me give a little background for people who haven't seen this meme. So I guess there's a song. I haven't seen the song, but it's like Wet Ass Pussy. And the girl talks about just how turned on she is and how wet she is and stuff like that. Well, Ben Shapiro's wife is a doctor, and she had like a couple of like diagnoses is why someone's pussy might be that wet. And so Ben Shapiro came out and he's like, it might be vaginitis, it might be this. And everyone took it as the greatest self-own ever.
It was.
He doesn't know that women's pussies get wet when they're turned on. And his wife tried to convince him that a wet pussy is really a disease and not something that would happen very often. And
what?
People weren't trying to say it was a great cell phone. It was an incredible cell phone.
So I didn't know all that. I thought, because I saw those, like, it's that meme where the guy's sitting in front of like a college with a table and there's a sign in front of it that says, wet pussies don't exist. Convince me. You know,
I changed my mind.
Changed my mind. Yeah. It's that meme. And I was just like, okay, so they're just making fun of like the very idea that Ben Shapiro doesn't know about turning women on. Okay. I heard I was playing some games last night and I heard, and somebody was like, Woody's visiting the prison you were at, Kyle. And I'm like, I'm like, he flew over. They're like, no, he landed.
We were trying to rescue Snow.
It's a rescue mission. They're getting Snow.
Okay. So would you free cam it and go around the prison?
Well, we didn't. We did manage to successfully land. We didn't take off successfully, so poor Snow's done. But
and now you're locked up with him.
Yeah.
But you know, the chat had these ideas on where they wanted to go. So I'm dressed up in my like Amelia Earhart hat and goggles and the scarf and shit, and we're going from place to place. So it's like, where do you want to go? Find the closest airport to Mount Everest. You launch and you get there, and we went to my house, we went to Mount Everest, we went to the pyramids, and one of the places.
You go to Epstein's Island?
We went to Epstein's Island. Yeah. We went to Conway and did a flyby of both Wendy's. and
an eventful stream.
But they wanted to see Talladega Federal Penitentiary. You know, they were really into that. And it turns out it has a really big, like, grassy area with no trees that we could land in. So we checked that out. That was one of the more successful locations because it looked good. So, Kyle, do you remember the name of the guy who was shot in the back 7 times?
No.
Shucks. All right. So I hope I have my story right. I'm doing my best. I think 2 women fighting on a sidewalk. Black guy in a car with 3 kids stops to break up this fight. During the fight breaking up process, 2 police come and they're like questioning the dude who broke it up. Like, I don't know, working with him or something. He's having none of it. And this is about when the footage I saw starts. So the other stuff I just heard about. He's having none of it. And the cops are like trying to put cuffs on him. He does that move where your arms are back and you kind of wiggle away and like torpedo. They try to taser him and that doesn't work. I'm making stuff up. Maybe the barbs didn't get skin. They were in loose t-shirt or something like that. But the tasering didn't work. And he is headed towards the driver's seat. And he gets the car door open. And that's when they shoot him. One guy, I think, shoots him 7 times in the back. He's alive, but he's paralyzed. And this has, like, you know, America's racial tensions, which are already kind of spiking right now, respiked. It's a big problem. I follow the NBA a lot. They wouldn't play. They did this. The first team out there was like, we're not playing. This is ridiculous. We need to bring attention to this bad stuff that's going on. And then all the games get canceled. Baseball games get canceled. Hockey keeps playing, but they're canceled tonight. So this is, you know, directing even more attention on it, etc. And that's, I guess, a still ongoing thing.
In Kenosha or whatever it is, and like it's like from the curb, you know, where you look and you see the rows of cars, every single one blackened to a crisp. Like, so it must have, you know, cars
in a car lot, they're parked close enough to go from car to car. If no one makes an effort to put them out,
I have a good,
and nobody can put it out.
I'd like to see it.
If people are rioting, you're not going to go try and put that shit out.
It's on Wikipedia, which is generally true. I trust it mostly. But here it is.
Oh shit!
That's wrecked. That's not the one, is it? Because it looks like it might be. It's hard to tell.
That looks like the one.
Where
there may have been multiple.
Like it was.
Well, I don't know how close this was to the shooting and
how
stuff.
How many cars is that? 4?
I just know I've seen this photo. Yeah,
dozens.
It's like 30 fucking cars. Like,
oh, look at that one kind of blue Chrysler 300. The back third of it is kind of burned.
That's who pulled in this morning. It's like, what?
That might be the guy's car.
They burnt the dealership too, of course. Yeah, I saw.
Oh, it's burnt. That Chrysler 300 is worse than it looks.
They're like melted.
Today I saw this black lady who owned like a Citgo gas station, and they've ruined her gas station. It's all fucked up, and she's standing outside of it like, don't y'all know this is a black owned business? What? And I'm thinking like, this is in the wrong subreddit, boys. This is not a public freakout. This is a justice served. I love that she had the gall to say that. Like, hey, you burned down the wrong business. There's a white guy who owns a gas station down the road. He's the one you should punish for. 66. Oh my God!
That guy's raking in his millions on his gas station.
Yeah. What did this happen the first night? When did the burning happen?
Yeah. I think the burning was the first night. Wow. Didn't get covered that heavy.
You're right, and I really pride myself on like watching Fox News and seeing the.
Oh, she said they got the wrong store.
Joe Rogan's the one I wonder about. Now, it said 20 million. This is like 4 years ago. His podcast has just been booming, and then he got that 100 million Spotify deal. Have you seen Joe Rogan's new studio?
Yeah, it's like a cockpit, or not a cockpit, but a fuselage.
Everybody hates it. They hate it. We were watching it on my stream last night, and just my chat universally. You'd think it wouldn't matter. You'd think it. I don't like it either. And before I saw it, I thought, but I don't care, right? It's the quality of the conversation. That's what I'm listening for. But then I saw it, and I was like, no, this isn't.
Why is it
good.
red?
Right?
Why is it all? And this like gold statue in the corner, that looks retarded. That's taking up so much space. Feels crowded in here.
It is crowded, right?
Yeah, I don't like it. He couldn't have made a better studio with real walls than a bunker. Yeah. I don't watch his podcast, so I don't really guess it doesn't really matter, but that's weird.
I can't play it because I'm afraid
I don't like it. But the thing is, like, it doesn't bother me. It's just I prefer the old way. And look, maybe he'll probably fucking change it next year.
I mean,
oh yeah, like some of the reviews from people who are just doing like look at me, I'm strong reviews, where they'd be like, yeah, this LAT tower, it's great for most people. If you try and load up 400 pounds on the pull down, It just can't handle. It's like you're absurd, sir. You shouldn't be putting 400 pounds on your lat pull down.
Fuck is doing 400 pounds?
A
on
liar on the internet. a guy from Rogue is putting that there.
He's that guy who's he's going, boom, boom.
Oh, he's doing the Spider-Man shit where you see a hanger on it and push off the ceiling.
Yeah, you don't
I'm
need that much. If you've gotten a 400-pound lat pulls, you should be earning enough for your equipment at the bodybuilding shows that you're clearly going to.
Yeah, you should be fine. You should be sponsored by someone. You should be sponsored by the LAT Kings or whoever, the Latin Kings.
That's a great name for a whole new fitness product line,
dude. No, it's the name of our new motorcycle gang. You've just witnessed it. We're gonna be the LAT Kings.
But it's written. It has to be written like this.
We'll do a little emblem of the guy flexing in the lat pop.
The Latin Kings.
The
Latin King.
Oh man, we probably shouldn't ride bikes through areas with Latin Kings on.
I don't think we'll be okay in the Midwest.
You don't understand. We're mocking you.
It was a joke. We're making a joke about you.
And we're just like memeing.
Do any of you know Snow? Yo, Weto, is that you?
Trying to escape, going 65 miles an hour on my governed 3-wheeler.
It's a good game. I like it. I don't know where my cards are, but I have far too many. My cards aren't as nice as yours, but they are much more plentiful. I must have 4,000 cards somewhere.
Landmark, have you ever gone to like tournaments for it, or like little Friday Night Magics, or just friends playing?
No, it's just friends. I was never like
serious. I just saw the haircut my wife gave me. It's not good, chat.
Oh shit!
Turn around.
I had no idea.
Oh no!
Dude, you look like.
Come on, baby, you gotta blend that shit in.
Dude, that's like the back of Simple Jack's head.
I only saw it from the front. It seemed fine.
My wife don't cut hair. Good.
Yeah, that's terrible.
She jacked you up.
She did it so bad.
Dude, I did a better job cutting my own hair.
Millionaire.
But I saved $20.
He could have easily had a person come over with like a fancy gear, like a straight razor on the back of his neck. Instead, he's like, "Honey, yeah, get the clippers. No, not the good ones, the dog clippers. Just go at it. No, not so gentle, like you're angry with me.
You gotta touch this up or
Do
something.
it like my hair owes you money."
Cut my hair like it owes you money.
And you know what? She had to walk in the room to bring you that coffee. She saw that atrocity, that war crime.
Not
the
saying
whole way.
anything. I just imagine her like scratching the back of your neck and be like, "Oh, looks good." Like, hey, like, I need a coffee.
Yeah, she knows what she did.
Everybody knows. Oh man, how did she see that and think we're all done here? This is nice.
That's tremendously bad for another person to have done it. I mean, I think my custom haircut I gave myself as a joke on stream is probably on par with
Taylor. You just did a number 2 across everything.
He blended.
So Kyle, you've got some motorcycle updates for us.
I went ahead and ordered my helmet, my gloves, and some boots because I need those. I got the cheapest DOT rated helmet I could find. That there's no face guard or anything for just to take the class because maybe I ride. I'm just like, I hate this. This hurts my back. This hurts my shoulders. So I'm in it for like $100 or something like that. And then the first class is $100. The second class, the classes escalate in what you're learning. The first one is learning what a motorcycle is. This is where the brakes are and shit. And it's like $100, and then it's like $250, $350 after that, and you escalate. And by the time you're done, you have a motorcycle license and you've taken an advanced riding course and you've got road time. But the bikes I'm looking at, and I just got basic bike gloves. I actually got gloves that I would wear maybe in the winter.
Do they have a shell on the back? Are they like plastic knuckles?
A little bit.
But yeah, fill us in, Dick. We only kind of know the top layer.
I'm trying to find the message I sent to Boogie the night before. I said, "Do not pull a gun on Frank. Don't kill him." I said, "Oh yeah, here's what I said: Don't kill him. You'll go to jail. But do whatever you want. Honestly, people do." That was the last bit of advice. He said, "Oh God, where is it?" He said that he may be a comedian, but I promise you, if he shows up, he won't be one anymore. Fact. This shit ends today." And I said, "What are you gonna do? Kill him? Lol." I guess.
What are you gonna do? Kill him? Lol. I like that you've got your finger in all these pies somehow.
See, now you're going to have to be called to testify if this goes any further. You've got way too much evidence on that phone.
Like Dick Master Star over here.
I'm a very good testifier.
Yeah, we'd like to call Dick Masterson to the. All right. They were all like, "It's 2020, Joe. We're drinking."
Yeah, it's 2020. We're gonna get fucked up.
Oh, I just put together 2020, the bad year meme kind of thing. Yeah.
Wait till 2021. It's gonna get wild.
Oh God, I hope so.
We'll see.
I hope things just go off the fucking rails. Let's go. Man, what if there's zombies next year and we're like, man, 2020 wasn't so bad.
If there's zombies next year, like 7 years after the whole zombie preparedness trend ended, fuck. Like, I don't think I have my werewolf zombie something else stick anymore that you gave me. What was the other thing? That vampire?
Yeah, vampires. It was it's the vampire steak with the silver bullets inside of it. So you cover
3 in 1.
It was
3 in 1.
It's like my shampoos.
Like
rookie
getting stuff done.
I wonder I'm gonna Google what is the most in one shampoo.
I've had 5 in 1.
Oh my God, what are the 5 things?
Shampoo, conditioner, body wash,
deodorant, moisturizer.
That's probably some bullshit one they threw in there. And I can't imagine what a 5th thing could be. What else does it do? Nothing. A 5
bug repellent.
Bug repellent with DEET. Yeah.
Suave 8 in 1. Now with DEET.
Yeah, you're gonna smell like a camping trip without any of the fun. Like you just need to smell like DEET. Them out. And be sure to also leave comments and tweet us about good ideas for names for the Load Company and other proprietary blends and stacks that you guys have tried. I cannot take your recommendations seriously without photos included. Photos go to Woody. I'll take the verbal descriptions, and we'll
quite frankly, we're gonna need you to prove that it's yours by jerking off on the monthly hangout.
Write your social on your erect penis.
We need to see the ejaculate leave your cock.
Yeah. So this is a good idea. This is a good idea. I'm like in like thinking mode now. Like I really like this idea. It's fun. It's
Dude,
fun thinking.
I know you were like strictly, but I'm like, no. What if there is some sort of like Joe Rogan has these like brain wake me up type things, Energizer. Hell, we could do a caffeine
Alpha
pill.
Brain.
Alpha Brain.
The infomercial could be a lot of fun because one metric has got to be volume. Another one's got to be velocity. We need a before and after radar gun analysis of the guy's legs.
I love this.
That's perfect.
It's
this
great.
Is genius.
I can get Inland Iggy. I can get the guy who was in the porn with me. He can fucking be our first customer.
Yeah, but we're going to want to pump the numbers a little bit. We're going to want him. The first shot we want to be his like 3rd load of the day.
Mm-hmm.
And then the follow-up shot after he's been on the pills for a week.
Of course,
yeah. Want to fuck that whole
How
week.
long does it take for it to work? Like, can you just take the pills today and hope that tomorrow's load is good? Like Cialis, for example. 30 minutes later, you're a new man, right? What do you have to? This isn't like
I'd say like a few days.
Okay,
like, you get a week of taking it straight. Oh yeah, you're noticing stuff. You're noticing like, you're coming, and it's like this is hilarious. Like this is a lot of cum.
It's hilarious.
But yeah, this is a good idea.
She's
I'm
funny.
so stoked on this.
What's the largest animal you think you could kill in a UFC cage match?
Oh, man,
no weapons, just you and your board shorts. Pick your animal. Coyote.
I think I could kill a horse. I think I could get around its initial rear up and the hooves coming down. Arm drag it, get behind it somehow. Get on its fucking back,
arm dragging in this.
Apply a rear naked choke. I could turn out the lights on.
Can you put your arms like a Clydesdale?
Yeah. You heard it here.
That's absurd.
That's a lot. I do like that you picked a large herbivore, though. I like the way you're thinking.
I got $10,000 on the horse.
I'll bet my entire
I'll
stake
collect.
in loadkings.com that the horse beats your ass.
What would a horse do to you, though? All it can do is rear up, and it'll get tired eventually.
Horses
will get less
have been
ferocious.
fighting off lions since time immemorial.
Kyle, you act like horses have a winning record against lions.
They do have a winning record against lions.
And I thought horses were native to Europe and lions
Not in a
Africa. Are you
UFC
sure they even
cage.
encountered each other?
Saber-toothed tigers. Like this has been happening for a long time.
Kyle, if you
Like,
put a
this-
saber-toothed tiger and peanut butter in a UFC cage, the peanut butter being the name of the horse, then
Buttercup.
the buttercup that works in the cage, the horse loses its the advantage it might have had. It's going to lose.
Yeah,
it's going to stomp you and kick you to death.
As soon as that horse realizes it's in a fight, you're dead.
Danny,
Borat 2, which comes out on the 23rd, which is tomorrow on Amazon. Apparently, he tricked Rudy Giuliani into some sort of interview, and there was a female interviewing him who I'm told looked very young, and at some point he was convinced to pleasure himself on camera, and 73 or 76-year-old Rudy Giuliani had his hands in his pants touching himself.
Was he masturbating?
This is all I know. He had his hands in his pants touching himself with this female interviewer, and that is the point in which I'm told Borat bursts in and says, stop, she's 15, she's far too old for you.
So that's
She's
hilarious. There's a little more to it. The actress that played the 15-year-old was 24.
Of course.
So I think that you might forgive Giuliani for thinking she was in her mid-20s, right? Like, he probably wasn't thinking it was a 15-year-old girl, right? And
of course not. That's irrelevant.
well, it's relevant to me, whether it's a 15-year-old or a 24-year-old that he's like.
Yeah, I knew it wasn't a child. I knew that. I know that's a joke. Well, the problem is that he's like touching himself in interviews.
So his excuse for it, I know, is he had just taken off like a lapel mic. And if anyone's ever worn them, they kind of like button in your back and the wire goes up the front like to here-ish and it's hidden.
Yeah.
And his shirt came untucked while he took the mic off. So he had to tuck his shirt back in. Now, he doesn't have a good explanation for why he was laying on the bed of a hotel room to do this operation, right? Probably Kyle. I know me. I've worn wireless lapel mics a bunch of times. And I never like, all right, honey, quick, I got to lay down in bed and tuck my shirt back in. Like that there's a little missing piece.
I have people for that.
Yeah, I have a tucker.
But you do have to tuck your shirt back in. Like that's part of the deal. Like it goes right up sort of the front and into here. So I can see why he was tucking his shirt back in. I don't know why he was laying on the bed to do that.
Yeah.
No. What did he do now?
So here's what happened. I wish I could remember the lady's name, but you know me and names. He did an interview with 60 Minutes very recently, call it 2 days ago. And the interview was kind of contentious. And he walked out. It was going to be him, and then Mike Pence was going to be interviewed next. And I guess the idea was, it'd be a chance for him to make his case, and it would go on TV right before the election. It'd be a positive thing. And she kept asking him questions about like rough areas for him. She's like, so this healthcare, for example, it's been years now. You had control of the House, the Senate, and the executive branch, and you guys didn't do anything with healthcare. You said you had a plan in 2 weeks. It's been 6 weeks since then. You've been saying that and he's like, these questions are rough. Why aren't you asking Biden questions like this? Why aren't you asking me about Hunter's emails? Why aren't you, how come you're not being fair? And eventually he left. Well, anyway, I guess to sort of scoop 60 Minutes, they had filmed. It lasted for 38. Well, the video was 38 minutes, but there was like
and shit
5 or 6 minutes ahead of it of like, please don't ask any hard questions, kind of like, I don't know, negotiating. She's like, are you ready for hard questions? He's like, no, I want fair questions. And she's like, so if I send you hard questions your way. You're gonna answer them, and he's like, "I'd much rather you said not do that." My Facebook feed. Sorry, they're all like, "What are you guys gonna do on November 4th when the pandemic's over?" Do you think there's any truth to that? Is there any is it been hyped at all? I feel like it's irresponsible to even ask that question, but
I don't. I'm interested to have they started coming out with what the flu numbers for this year are like compared to COVID or anything?
I don't know. I know the death numbers are way up. Like the amount of deaths.
I thought case numbers were up and death numbers were down.
I'm talking about deaths in general. We have something like 250,000 extra deaths in America this year, and the difference is COVID.
Yeah, well, that makes sense. I mean, then I would say no. It's definitely not going to end.
Wait, we have 250,000
additional death to whatever the normal
compared
is,
to what you'd think the schedule should be. Yeah,
so that's
we got
weird
50 million of heart disease because we eat nothing but that. And then
so that's weird to me because hear me out. So many people have been sheltered. That means that fewer people have been on the highways, right? Which is, I would think, responsible for a lot of the deaths we have. It seems like we would have saved a lot of people by keeping people locked down.
That's 50,000 a year in cars or something. Yeah.
Yeah. It seems like
a lot of people think there are unaccounted for COVID deaths, that the numbers of deaths are higher than they say it is. So even though we're claiming 220,000, something like that, the number is closer to 300. And that may be
I looked at your Facebook and they're quite sure that they have way blown that out of proportion. I heard there's 8 to 10 deaths.
I've heard that too. Same source.
The Trump train is running wild. It is untethered. All right. I saw Woody crying his lib tears the other night.
The only way Donald Trump gets to 270 is if he loses 50 pounds.
Charlie Day and It's Always Sunny trying to figure out where Pepe Sylvia was, just connecting dots and fucking yarn.
Pepe.
Yeah.
But before we get into anything, this episode, we have Filthy on, wonderful guest Filthy, and it's brought to you by Blue Chew and Squarespace. But
yes,
high energy start, Kyle. That caffeine pill you took definitely.
It's kicking in right about now.
How many milligrams?
They're 200 milligrams each. So I only took the one, but I have taken 4 before, and that's crazy town.
That's awful, man.
So everyone said Trump was going to get trounced. We all here, to be fair, thought Trump was going to get trounced. Look. At this point, we have to all agree, regardless of our political standings or who we think should win.
Don't even say it was funny. Is that where you're headed?
Well, first of all, yes, it is funny, but that's not at all where I'm going.
It wasn't funny.
First of all, it's funny.
It's not
but that's not where I'm going.
It wasn't funny.
What are we talking about?
That's not the topic of discussion. The topic of discussion is that polls, again, seem to have been wrong, like way off.
In the same direction.
In the same exact direction. And I'm left with only one logical explanation, and that is there are a lot of people who like Donald Trump, clearly, but they are embarrassed, ashamed, or afraid to admit to a pollster that, yes, I do like Donald Trump and I'm going to vote for him. If that were not the case, we would not be where we are right now, where they're still counting votes.
The entire premise is pretty wrong in the first place. Assuming that Pennsylvania and Georgia do go Biden, which is a bit of a leap, I hear you, but they are predicted to go that way. Then they got 49 of the 51 states right in their final prediction. And the reason that they chose Biden was that he could suffer a Hillary Clinton-like, mistake in the polls and still win, which he has.
You are the only one on the planet who has this opinion. Even the people on CNN are
super smart, though.
The people on CNN are like, we were wrong. And it's disturbing how close this is. Van Jones is like, it's hurtful.
It's over. Van Jones is always hurt. He and Don Lemon is fucking crying.
Can you imagine being personally upset by polls?
No, it is a little disturbing.
Don't they know I look at these? A positive development with Corona going up again is it's going to be work from home for a lot of folks for a long time still.
Yeah.
And for me, very selfishly, I'm enjoying it.
Did you ever have to go back? Did they ever drop their guard or?
I've been able to do fucking everything with whoever I needed to call over Zoom the whole time.
So, so they never said funds up, come back to the office. That's not your.
Basically, yeah. And now it's reversing again where it's all right, well, we thought 6 weeks ago it was going to get better. nope, back on, everybody's shutting down again.
Dude, it's so bad. Like the case numbers, have you watching them much at all?
I looked at them this morning and like it's up in the 6 digits now every day of infect. Are the deaths going up? I would imagine they are, because it's getting to be that time of year when old people start kicking it.
They are going up. The deaths are 2 to 8 weeks delayed. So we'll call that 5 since that's the middle. And so if you look at the death numbers, they kind of report or kind of reflect the way the case numbers were going up 5 weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
Which is to say, like, missing on the most aggressive rise.
Yeah, 160,000 new today. 1,100 deaths. I think that's down from recently, but who knows? It's not the end of the day. Is this ever going to be over?
Isn't it though? I think it is the end of the day. It's
I don't know when they enter in their little.
Oh, I thought you meant like end of the world type. Yeah, it's awful what's happening. It's real awful. Like
yeah, if we have to do a big scale shutdown,
funny as it would,
all
as
business
funny as it would have been if Trump had won, it would have been a real laugh. But might be best for Biden to win if he's going to. I'm all for this mandatory mask thing.
Maybe
nationwide.
put like a doctor or a scientist ahead in charge of the task force instead of a son-in-law.
We all played some zombies the other night. That was very fun.
I had a good time.
Yeah.
And dude, if you guys haven't played zombies yet, what Kyle said on PKN is true. There are kiting spots for everybody. Kiting, you probably all know, is that term where you kind of maintain your distance and use your range weapon. And it used to be in zombies that like there was one good spot and that guy would always like perform really well, and every other spot kind of sucked. Not this time. There were kind of 2 spots that the Taylor and I shared next to each other. The one by the plane where I think Kyle spent his time, I'd have been just as happy there. And I don't know where Mitty was.
Swamp is good. Yeah.
Maybe he was in the swamp.
Yeah, you can play underground. Yeah, you can play underground in a couple of different places. The map's full of nice little kiting spots. There's there's fewer bullshit trash piles in your way. There's no like corners of something that looks like it's clear, but it's going to snag you and pin you in. It's my favorite zombies game ever. It's the easiest to play zombies game ever. Like I was just goofing around today playing solo and I died at like 32 or something, but it was only because I was being dumb and like not paying attention. Chappelle's show is no longer on Netflix. And Dave Chappelle is happy about it. The comedian on Tuesday opened up in a video posted to Instagram about the streaming service's move, which he says came at his request. In his video, Chappelle acknowledges that the contract he signed with Viacom CBS allows for his show to stream without additional payments to him. The creator, star, and executive producer, he takes issue with the approach. They, that's Viacom CBS, didn't pay me because I signed the contract, Chappelle said, but is that right? I found out that these people were streaming my work and they never had to ask me or they never had to tell me. Perfectly legal because I signed the contract, but is that right? I don't think so either. That's why I like working with Netflix.
So my question is, how much did he get paid to sign the contract, right? If I signed away the rights to all my Modern Warfare 2 videos, and then I was like, these motherfuckers streamed it, and I'm not getting more money. Wait, what do you give you $10 million up front? Yeah, but you're not paying me ongoing. Like that. What was the rest of the contract? What is it? That's what I want to know.
Yeah, so he signed it and then he doesn't like it.
Well, he signed it 15 years ago.
I didn't know that. Maybe he didn't make very much food. I don't know.
It was when he made the Chappelle. So I don't think he got paid very much for like the first couple seasons, but like there was some huge.
There were only a couple seasons of that show.
Yeah, there's only like 2
So,
that really count.
I don't know. Are these investment cars? Do you fix them?
No,
Are
no.
these your
These are
cars?
first off. What my business right here, on top of making videos, my exit from the gig economy is called Westside Collector Car Storage, and it is for customers to store their collector cars. I also keep my cars here, but I'm the west side of LA and by the beach, and there's just this type of business doesn't exist in this area. So I bought this property, built this building, and I'm gonna show you some cool shit. But first, check this out. This is my studio. This is the Smoking Tire Podcast studio.
Nice.
Oh, that's awesome,
Now,
man.
do you also still have a watch podcast? It had a really clever name.
No, the Watch and Listen. And I after 2 years of it, I couldn't do the research of watch research anymore. I had to either get snobbier or nerdier, and I was neither. So here's the lounge upstairs.
God
So
damn.
we've got
Wow.
cigar lounge, right? Engine block coffee table.
This sounds
Ooh,
like
that's good.
the social aspect of the club is part of the draw. You meet people like you.
Yeah, you'd think, but people don't really hang out. That lounge, you have to have a lounge because it's a thing you have to have. But it's really and of course, members are more than welcome to hang out. But the fact of the matter is, they don't hang out very often, and I use it for hanging out with my friends more often than with
Might
customers.
be part of the sales pitch, right? Sometimes you buy things.
It's where you tell them the price in the tour.
All right.
So we're gonna go into.
I can't, I'm struggling to find it because I got to scroll up so far. But he basically said, "Woody, I'm not kidding. I am 100% serious. I will do this anytime, anywhere. Headgear, no headgear, whatever kind of gloves you want, whatever kind of rule set you want, with a ref, without a ref, at your house, at my house, in a ring, anywhere, anytime, any day. You're mine. Bring it."
So I read it and I was grumpy to start with, and I thought it over and I was like, you know what? Yes. Fucking yes. I am tired of this fucking manlet. This guy is like 135 pounds and he is picking on me at this point. He won't I would like to let it drop. It seemed for a while, it was much like an aggressive girl where maybe you're like, it just seems inappropriate to make you pay for what you're doing. But at some point, Dirty is just gonna have to meet his maker, right? At some point, Dirty, yes, fucking yes, officially. I will let you know next time in Hartwell. Apparently, that's where you want to fight. I'll let you know when I'm coming around. You can show up. You should be aware that inside the first 15 seconds ago, you'll be on your back, and I will keep going until I feel like you've learned a lesson. It might involve a broken nose, a broken orbital bone. I don't know, but you asked for this and you are still, I will drop it if you want, but if you show up, you will learn a lesson. And this was all your idea. I just want you to remember this was entirely your idea.
It's like two different badass movie quotes combined into one. He just combined Kurt Russell from Tombstone when he said, "You called down the thunder. Well, here it is," with Tom Cruise from what's the movie where he's like the military police?
Jack Reacher or something like that?
Jack Reacher, yeah. Where he's like, "Just remember, you wanted this."
Now we have to get this organized.
It's gonna be the next pay-per-view event.
I had no,
just like Jake and Logan
I played
Paul
no
fighting
role
people.
in the origin of this. He just kept coming at me. If he's gonna come back and say, "No, Woody, Queensberry boxing rules," Dirty, this is the part where I lied to you. Okay, boxing rules, right? But come and get it and then see what happens. I think I got canceled. So,
whoa,
I don't think so.
Hear me out.
Heard about it.
So I don't know, a week or two ago, the New York Times did an article on a young guy, and he had watched this video I made like 6 years ago called "How to Get Rich in 22 Years." And they're talking about the saving habits of millennials. And the New York Times article kicks off with like, "You wouldn't think your favorite Call of Duty YouTuber is a good place to get financial advice, but sure enough." And I'm like, is he talking about me? Like, people said it was me, but I was still open to the idea that maybe some other Call of Duty YouTuber also made financial advice videos. But then they linked to my video later on. It was called "How to Get Rich in 22 Years" or something like that. And New York Times did a little article, and I was tangentially related to it. So then CNBC reaches out to me, and they're like, "Mr. Woodworth, we're doing this like financial education thing, and we'd like you to make some content with us." And I was like, I'm interested. This sounds kind of neat. I don't think it's a big financial opportunity, or even I don't even know if it's paid, but it just seemed kind of neat to be working with CNBC, and they were going to have their graphics department like
your heroes.
Put
My heroes at CNBC.
You're thinking of MSNBC, maybe. CNBC is a financial news network.
Oh, MSNBC is your heroes. I understand. Okay.
Okay. So
will Rachel Maddow be there?
MSNBC.
How funny would it be if you saved like her from bankruptcy?
I don't think CNBC is political at all. But anyway, back on topic. So then they were like, hey, questions about PKA. And I was like, what is that? I'm like, it's a comedy podcast. And she asked if it was blue comedy, which is a term I heard before. And she's like, is it R-rated? And I was like, yeah, I think it's blue. And she's like, is it X-rated? And I'm like, no, not X-rated. Like, we have to, this YouTube's terms of service, we can't get like, shut down or anything. But it's R-rated. I gave an example where like, a female teacher has sex with a student and we all agree that it's not that bad because she was
That's your example you gave to MSNBC.
Look, I didn't want to.
Oh man.
I didn't want to surprise anyone. Like I was honest about this whole thing. I wasn't trying to. I didn't want to be like, oh, sometimes we use a bad word, and and then have her find out later that like Milo's on there talking about pedophiles or something like that. So
someone affiliated with you called Helen Keller a fucking retard.
That would have been a funny example too. But so anyway, they asked for a link. I gave them the link to the most recent PKA, and in the title of it is something about me fighting dirty. And I don't know where it goes from there. I guess they'll watch it and decide if it's too much for them or not.
So I want to talk about this a little bit. How long have you been thinking about proposing?
Probably the better part of a year.
Okay. How long ago did you purchase the ring?
So I did something different with that. I used a family
this is
ring.
Gonna be romantic.
And then figured then we would go get one afterward. And the good thing about that is that you get to play it off as this is like very sentimental, but really it saves you a trip.
Okay. So follow-up question. How long ago did you acquire the family ring?
Oh, well, it came from like my grandma. And so it was never like I got to pick it up. It was just like the last time I saw her before I was doing it. It's like, oh yeah, did you got that by the way that we talked about using? She's like, oh, here you go. But
So,
it's
Thanksgiving
for a while.
is that?
Yeah,
the
I guess that's
answer?
when I grabbed it. It was around Thanksgiving. That was the
Okay.
last
So
time I saw it.
how long were you carrying it around, perhaps in your pocket, before you pop the question?
Oh, not very long at all.
Okay.
Yeah, hardly any time. It was a big annoying box, and you look like an asshole walking around with that giant bulge in your pocket. And so I was like, "What am I going to go to a fancy dinner?" And she's going to sit there like, "You're either hard or you're about to propose." So that was
how did the proposal go down? Did you like hide it in a dessert, or did you just boop, ready to ruin your life? Ready to ruin my life?
No, what I did is I put it inside a ravioli. And then we waited for
and
it to
she'll be able
pass.
to wear it in 36 to 48 hours.
Yeah, I put it in a little gnocchi thing, and then just pretty traditional, pretty normal, just regular proposal.
Did you get down on one knee?
Yeah,
I did too.
Yeah, I figured that's
the
plan.
Did you
like
ask her father?
Yeah, I did.
I did too.
I thought that would be
traditional boys. I
respectful.
like it.
Very, very.
And
regal.
she's very traditional. Also, she was the one who was like, I would really appreciate, if we ever get married. This was a long time ago. Like, and she was like, I would like you to ask my father first. And I was like, oh, of course.
That was the first
I will
date.
do that. That was 3 years ago.
Almost scared him off, frankly.
Yeah.
It was,
It's like maybe we should maybe we should get appetizers first.
She said that on Tinder. Actually, it was the first conversation.
It's the first thing.
Yeah.
Ask my father. But
Well, no. In all seriousness, congratulations.
Thank you.
I'm very happy for you because I know this will make you happy. I'm sure. I've never met her, but I look forward to meeting her at some point because she must be a wonderful person. Because you're one of the smartest people I know. You're one of my best friends. I care about you a tremendous amount. I love you. And
love you too, man. Thank you.
Yeah, and I wish you all the best and tons of happiness. And all jokes aside, really happy for you.
Yeah, I'm really excited about it. Also, like, I'm really looking forward to it.
But don't you ask me to come to that fucking, what do they call it, a wedding? That arranged that like personal life execution that you guys are gonna hold in a church somewhere. Like, no, but seriously though.
Oh well, thank you. Yeah,
love you so much. So happy
Don't
for you.
dare.
It's awesome.
And the kind of the impetus of this is a different $50 patron challenged Woody to a fight. And Woody was like, "There's no fucking way. I'll trash you. I'll break your orbital bones. I'll drop down with elbow." Like, and in response to that, this totally separate guy, the Northern Nightmare. Initiative.
He's got like 9,000 views as well.
All right, I'm ready on this.
Ready, set, play. It's too quiet.
Hey, Low T Woody, you haven't been an athlete since George Sr. was in office. And that's if you even consider swimming a sport. You think your breaststroke gonna help when I'm drowning you in a cage, Holmes?
No audio quality.
I can hardly hear it.
The fuck are these lunch lady arms?
You got me. Yeah.
Balls in your court, homie. Sign the contract. Or better, go back in your cave and play some more fucking dark the location, Holmes.
When he took the glasses off, his eyes were so wide apart, like Sid the Sloth.
Yeah.
That's the funniest part to me.
Because he clearly stretched out the entire thing in order to fit the glasses into the so you can't see anything. The whole
I'd
time.
wear glasses too if I was this deformed fuck looking like that cartoon Arnold. I accept your challenge. Send the contract. Send the contract. Don't talk about sign it until you've sent it. There it is.
Well, that's just silly.
Yeah.
Maybe no. Let's get. I'm sure his attorney is working on a draft.
That was some pretty funny stuff. He said something about lunch lady arms.
Citizen Center or whatever.
And he's doing some sort of Cholo accent. Like what if it's snow? What if that's actually snow?